A bitch that don't respect you is going to show you she don't respect you.
Over and over again.
Anybody, and you better get away from them.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. You know what men think? They think that they can win the respect of them.
And they think they can change. Exactly. Yeah. They can sway them to come there. I am smart
enough by getting my ass kicked to know if a ain't on shit with me, I use her for my ain't shit. But you can't get close to me like that.
No.
And when I feel like I have to tell them that, I take pride in telling them, I don't trust you worth a dime. I'm a savage, so I still put my dick in you. I deserve the bad luck for being around you.
Marriage is a fucking diabolical leverage game in the United States. I'm just being honest. Devoid of religious significance or the idea of love, marriage is nothing but an awful contract that you shouldn't sign. Because you start out loving each other, and then like 2 years later, you're just building a case against one another for a hypothetical court date that may or may not ever happen.
And to be honest with you, that's why I'm in the relationship space. Because for me personally, I don't respect a man until he's married. Like a man does not earn my respect until he's married and faithful. Damn. Like he could bench press 500. He could make $1 million a week. He can have a jet. He can have houses around the world. A man does not have my respect. He will have my kindness. He will have, my love as a brother, as a man, but he won't have my respect and admiration until he can be married and faithful.
So is that the highest level of a man?
It's the highest level of a man.
And faithful in particular.
Faithful, because anybody could be married. That's a piece of paper. See, real marriage is a covenant, because when we had marriage with God, we didn't have a courthouse. We didn't have a piece of paper. We have a covenant. So the piece of paper does not mean anything. And I remember my dad telling me that. He was like, listen, if you think that piece of paper gonna change something, it's not. And we have to have a covenant. And this is what you'll notice when you look around. And this is why I was telling y'all, with a lot of podcasts that won't bring me on, they won't bring me on because they know from my message what I stand on. And they don't want their wives or their girlfriends to see that this is a level of living that's capable, and I'm settling when Cherie Gaskins has this mindset, and you around here talking to me like crap, and you around here talking about I got to give you a hall pass and every man cheats and all of this. So they don't want to expose their woman who's in the darkness to men who speak in the light, who's showing the light. And so because of that, you'll notice most black men and men in general choose business and motivation over relationships, because it's easier to talk about making money than it is to talk about being faithful to one woman and loving one woman purely. Because what I have come to realize, the hardest thing for a man to do, and guys always capping in the comments when I say this, but they're not really living it, because I'm living it. The hardest thing for a man to do is be faithful to one woman. And what I mean by being faithful is not just about not having sex, but I also mean by cultivating her heart and mind, by speaking life into her, by understanding that his greatest strength is his gentleness, by not talking down to her, by not dictating and controlling and trying to silence her and make her what men are looking for today are robots.
So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. When you put yourself in a situation with a woman, you have to understand that whoever you met her as, she's going to continue to be that person. Now, she may make some subtle adjustments to her behavior, but that doesn't mean she changes who she is and becomes someone else. And one example of that is Joe Smith's wife, Keisha. Now, we just talked about how she has an OnlyFans page that he just found out about after being together for 13 years. And he recently left home. But here's what she has to say about it. And in typical female fashion, she's going to blame him and his actions or inaction for her choices. Let's take this to the video, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on a real tip and drop some prism of the ism on this thing.
You know who the fuck I
when you met me?
Before.
A few moments later.
I've had the page for at least over a year. It's on my Instagram and my LinkedIn, but that's what happens when you don't pay attention to your wife, period. And, you know, he has a friend that he's been entertaining, and she decided that, you know, she wants to really put a bigger, you know, wedge in our relationship. So she went digging around my page and was like, oh, do you know that she has this? And it blew up from that. And it's no secret, Joe's financial issues, you know, and I have always made a good life for myself, you know. Before I met Joe, I was living overseas in Europe, and I had established myself as a singer, you know, and I came back here, you know, thinking that with his persona and who he was, once we got together and I found out who he was, that it would only take off, you know, other things. But, you know, not everybody's hustle and drive are the same. And depression is a serious thing also. So, you know, I've been just like, you know, supporting and dealing and going through his trials and tribulations with him. I've started several businesses, you know, I've been doing a lot, like, and I just figured out, I have a home in Cape Verde I'm trying not to lose, and a roof over here we're trying to maintain that we almost got kicked out of. So I just kicked in the drive and did what I had to do, you know, and he won't do it. So I had to, and I'm sorry, you knew I was an adult video star when you met me. So if I would do anything for my own survival then, what makes you think that would change now? When I retired from the adult industry, I promised myself, if I don't sing, I don't eat. So when, you know, my music career wasn't popping here when I left Germany and I stayed here for him, I figured, you know, I would, you know, start a business. I started a puppy friend social club business, a dog sitting business. And then COVID happened and that screwed everything up. I have a moving company, you know, that he actually works for me. Like, he works for my moving company. You know, I'm tired of being the one to figure shit out. So I figured it out the best way I know that can maximize the money that needs to come in, because I'm tired of living like, you know, I'm tired of living minimal, you know, it's not fair.
Now, when you hear this woman speak, you know, you come to the realization that no matter what a woman does in life, she expects to be able to be absolved from any responsibility for whatever particular circumstances, consequences, and repercussions come from her actions. And in this situation, I think I agree with her, because when you wife up a 304, you had better remember that in that 304 phase, you're going to have to be a P in order to deal with the woman who has that mindset. Because if not, man, then it's going to turn out this way. And she's going to automatically revert to who she was. You can be the most alpha man around, but if you beta, then eventually you're going to revert back to beta if you put yourself in a situation with a woman long term. We are who we are, and you can't change who you are. So I'm not around here trying to become a good husband and a good guy that's going to be, you know, absolutely fair and let a woman do, you know, whatever she wants to do. And I'm just going to appreciate her presence. I'm not going to do that, because she's going to have to contribute to the process of my progress. And in this situation, all this woman is saying is that if Joe was not going to be able to figure out a way to get to the money, she took it upon herself to become the husband in the situation. And that's what a man has to do. A man has to embrace the concept that if a woman is going to be in a situation with you, at the very moment you're not handling the husband responsibility anymore, she has to take it upon herself. Now, what Joe should have done is say, okay, this is who she is. I'm glad she had that skill. I'm absolutely blessed that she has this skill, not the skill of putting a camera on, the skill of being on camera in a way that's engaging and inviting enough to get people to pay to see you on camera. Now, I know a lot of you are going to feel some kind of way about this and view this as something negative, but the bottom line is, as I stated, you have to know who you marry. And if she was already not just a working girl, but, you know, an adult star when you married her, then this is in her. When Joe says, man, you know, all of that should have changed now. Yeah, it did change. until you put her in a situation where she had to go back to what she knows. You find me a man that used to be the birdie man, now he's legit, let everything go bad in the legit world. Watch how fast he go back to get them things. Now he gonna get jammed up. Now he don't know the game no more, but he gonna go try. As humans, we revert back to what we know. And so if this is the way you're gonna keep your home, this is the way you're gonna do everything, man. Don't no woman wanna go out there and struggle with you, Joe. If you brought a woman in a situation where you were getting money, at the point you ain't getting money no more, the woman could have just left. So I respect the woman for staying and figuring out a way to do it herself so she and her husband, Joe, can keep their crib. And I get it. Joe shouldn't have been tripping about it. You know, I know he said, man, it should have been different. You should have changed. Okay, but the bottom line is you knew who she was. So at this point, lick your wounds, go to the crib, go at your sister house, your mama house, wherever you're at, get over it, come back and see how you can contribute to the process to make the woman make even more money on OnlyFans. You talking about easy money. You got a woman that's willing to do something strange for a little piece of change on OnlyFans, and you ain't been a man about it, man. Stand up, man. Put some prism in the ism and go out here and get this money with this woman. Figure out some new routines, some new presentations. Figure out a way to make her unique from everybody else. Let her in on what young NBA players want. The guys with the money, young rappers, let her in on what young millionaires want. You know what I'm saying? Take some money, man. Get her body done if you have to. If this is what she's going to do, you might well capitalize on. You took care of that woman all this time. And now when she out there getting to the money, man, you want to run off like a little man. You better get it together, Joe. Now, I don't know who your friends are, but if you're friends with Joe Smith, man, you better tell him, man, to get his thing together. And if you want to know how to get together, tell him to book a consultation with Dr. BOA. I'll get his mind right. You know what I'm saying? Because you get your mind right, you can get your woman behind right, man. And I'm telling you, she ready to go. She going. And you ain't even at home. Man, come on back to the crib, man, and take on your rightful mantle, man, as the pimp in this situation, man. You got to put the prism of the ism, man. It's time for you to apply the pimp principle to the square world, Joe. Your woman is already out there on the turf. The internet is the new turf. She on the turf. All you got to do is come and govern the situation. Motivate her. You understand? She gonna do it anyway. You ain't gonna leave her. You love her. So, man, you sit there, man, and you just tell her, hey, baby girl, go ahead and do that. Come on, you looking a little lazy today. Go ahead and give it to him. Go ahead and get you. Reach your hand in there and smack her on the butt a couple times, man. You got to figure out how to make this thing work, Joe, because you're not going to lead a woman, man. I can see it in your eyes. You ain't going to lead a woman. Because you had to go home and think. And I know your mama over there talking to you, your sister talking to you, whoever else you got talking to you, telling you, man, you knew who she was. So I know you ain't going to lead a woman for being who she was. Hell, you married her who she was. So I want you to pull it together. And I want all y'all suckers to remember one thing, man. If your woman is living a certain lifestyle when you meet her, dog, she's not going to quit. Nor should you want her to. You shouldn't want her to quit. You should want her to keep going, to keep flowing, man, so that money can keep growing. The bottom line is you guys get into these situations and you believe that your emotional attachment is going to change who the woman is. No, it's going to change who you are. It's going to change how you feel. It's going to change how you view things. The woman will do whatever she can as long as she can, man. But now, if things to hit the fan and all this money talk she talking about a real, man. And I've heard about some of the financial situation with Joe Smith, man. Listen, bro, your woman is a gold mine. You used to be a basketball player. Now you better turn into a street player and get it together, man. Because the majority of women out here would have left their man when things got hard. They would have left, took him for whatever he had left, man, and went on, moved on with their life and been with somebody else. Keisha trying to stay there and hold it down, dog. Let her stay there and hold it down, man. Let that old lady get some motivation, man, to put some paper in the situation. Y'all killing two birds with one stone. She getting validation to create motivation for her to bring paper to the situation. I mean, you got to remember, man, that it's your job as a man to embrace that. Don't stop her from being who she is. Cultivate that, nurture that. Help her grow more into the role. Be who you're supposed to be, man. Who you're supposed to be is a true P. Now, I know you ain't got it in you like that, but you can get it. And that's what I want you to do, Joe. I want you to get it. And all you other men in these situations, man, you done married an exotic dancer, or you done married a working girl, or you done married an escort, or you just done married the neighborhood 304. Hey, look, man, if she got a skill like that, man, she better be getting some paper. Now, the neighborhood 304 probably the only one who won't get no paper. But the other girl, man, they professionals. There's no way I would put a professional working man in that capacity, man, and not see what money we can make. We gonna make some money. Probably make enough to sit down somewhere and just travel and make money. But you have to understand as a man, it's your job to embrace it. It's your job to let the world know that, yeah, this is my woman. same one you paying to look at, I look at it every day. Somebody gonna say something. Somebody gonna say, "You man, you a simp, man, you this, you that." You know, some beta male simp man Johnny gonna come in here and say, "Well, that'll be away. See, you talking about the woman's supposed to be good, that'll be away. You say the woman's supposed to be good, that'll be away. You say it's supposed to be good. Now you talking about the woman can be bad, that'll be away. Boy, you don't know what you talking about. You all over the place. I'm talking about all over the place, that'll be away. 1 minute, the woman gotta be a good girl version. The next minute, you got a 1 304 as a wife. You gotta make her go get the paper, that'll be away. I thought you wasn't never in a game like that, that'll be away. Boy, you be lying. Unsubscribe. Okay, unsubscribe. So before you go, let me tell you this. Whatever a woman is and whatever she can contribute to the process of your progress, you should know that early on. And once you find out what that skill is, you should automatically be cultivating it right then, because you never know when you're going to need it. And when you need it, you got to heed it. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to start understanding that if you got a woman and you understand what she's good at, and you understand what she's hood at, then you better put it to use as often as possible. Because eventually you're going to need to use it. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. Subscribe on the way out. Peace.